Hello and welcome back to our class. Okay, today we are going to be looking at HR workforce analysis dashboard. We're going to be exploring this dashboard and we are also going to look at or see how we were able to achieve this dashboard in Excel. Okay, now this is a turnover uh, rate dashboard. This is a turnover rate analysis or attrition analysis. Now, before we go further to talk about this dashboard, we're going to look at what turnover rate is. Okay, we're going to see the definition of what turnover is. Now, turnover rate is a key HR metric that measures how often employees leave an organization within a specific period. Okay, this can also be known as attrition rate. Okay, it can also be called attrition rate, and is the measure or how often employees leave an organization, usually a month or a year. Okay, now we have formulas that we can use to calculate this attrition. Now, the formula to calculate attrition is the number of employees, that's the total employees, divided by the uh, the number of employees who left. That's the inactive employees divided by the total employees. Okay, that is how we can calculate turnover rate or attrition rate. Okay, now we have the types of attrition. We have the voluntary turnover or voluntary attrition. Now, this is when employees leave on their own. This is resignation. Okay, we also have the involuntary. Now, this is when employees are terminated or laid off, they are sacked. Okay, we also have the functional turnover. Now, this is the poor performers leaving, those persons that's contributing nothing to the organization when they leave on their own. We call this functional turnover. We also have dysfunctional turnover. Now, this is when the persons that actually have a good contribution in the organization leave the organization. Now, this can actually be harmful to the organization. Okay, so we call this a dysfunctional turnover. Now, let's look at why it's important to analyze this. Now, this indicates employee satisfaction and engagement levels. Now, high turnover means higher recruitment and training costs because when there is high turnover in an organization, it simply means that the organization has to keep on recruiting personnel. They have to keep on spending resources on training. So this is not actually okay. Now, this also helps the HR to identify departments or roles with retention problems. Okay, now this can also be used to track the effectiveness of HR policies and workplace culture. Okay, so these are why we try to look into the turnover rate of organizations and analyze it. Okay, now let's go into this analysis. Let's go into what we analyzed. Now, from the top row, from the top here, we have our total employee, which is a 3,256. Okay, this is the total employee. And we have our turnover rate to be 38%, which is really high. We have our retention rate to be 62%. Our total salary is 29 point something million. We have our average tenure to be 9.1. We have our average age to be 31. So I think this shows that this organization has a young workforce. Okay, down to this side, we have our active employees, people still active in the organization, still working in the organization, if I should say, to be 2007. Now we have the inactive, persons that have left already to be 1,249. Okay, now going over to the charts, we have our gender here. We have our average salary by gender. Okay, we have our average salary by gender, and we can see that the male salary here is 9,016 and the female is 9,088. Okay, now this simply means that there is no significant gender pay gap detected here. That is what it simply means. And the organization maintains pay equity, promoting fairness and inclusion. Okay, now we have another chart here. This is our turnover rates by work type. We have our turnover rate by work type. And we can see that the part-time here is 40%, full-time is 39%, contract is 35%. Okay, contract is 35%. Now this simply means that high turnover across all there's actually high turnover across all the categories here, but the highest here is the part-time workers. The part-time employee shows the highest rates, indicating maybe issues with job security or satisfaction and all of that. Okay, now I think this is the reason why there is higher turnover rates here in the part-time. Okay, coming down again, we have the turnover rates by department. We have the turnover rate by department. Okay, we have that the highest here with turnover is the legal. We have the highest here to be the legal, which is 42%, and the IT to be also 42%. Okay, now the finance and the facilities is at 36%. Okay, 36%. Okay, and 34%. Okay, now the legal and IT may be facing a workload or satisfaction issues with their job. Okay, so I think this is why there's more of a turnover rates in those departments. Okay, we have another chart here, up here, turnover rate by ethnicity. Now, the higher turnover rate here is on the other ethnicities. Now, I think that these are the minority ethnicities. Yeah, the others, the minority ethnicities. Now, the turnover rate there is 60%. It's higher than the other ones. Now, followed by the Middle Eastern, which is 47% turnover rate. Okay, and then we also have African American, 38%, and Latino, also 38% in terms of turnover rate. They are the lowest in terms of turnover rate. Okay, now the insights we can be getting from this chart is that cultural or inclusion related challenges may exist. Now, to mitigate this, they need to target diversity and inclusion programs. Okay, there needs to be targeted diversity and inclusion programs. These are the recommendations for things like this, for this kind of ethnicity turnover rate. Okay, we have another one down here, turnover rate by age group. Okay, we can see that the highest here is 68 and 87 years, which is 49% in terms of turnover. Now, this is actually expected because this is the age where there's a retirement. Okay, this is the retirement age. Okay, we have another one, the young employees, which is 15 to 27. Okay, 15 to 27 here, and then we also have the middle aged. Okay, we also have the middle aged, which is 54 to 65. Now the turnover rate is at 44%. Okay, now the middle aged here is the middle aged again, 41 to 53, 36%. Okay, now we're having 15 to 27 to be 38%. Now this shouldn't be, because this is where the younger workforce is placed. Now these persons here should be encouraged more. Now maybe they need to get more training, more work-life balance. Okay, because these are things that might actually retain them to be in this company. Okay, so that is it for this chart. Now we have another chart here, total employee by age bracket and gender. Total employee by age bracket and gender. Okay, we can see the total employee for 15 to 27 years, we can see that the female here is 1061 and the male is 933. So the female gender is higher in terms of this age range. And we can see for the 28 to 40, the male is higher and the female is lower. So we can see this across the other age groups too. Okay, now we have our last chart here, which is the total employee by turnover rates and employee rating. Now this is how the employees rated. This is how the employees rated. Okay, now the employees rated here, people that rated average, their turnover rate is 1,617. People that rated poor, their turnover rate is okay, sorry, people that rated average here, they are 1,617 in number, and this is 37.5 in terms of turnover. So this is still high. This is actually high. Okay, we have people that rated poor, they are 569, and their turnover rate is 37.3. So we can go ahead to see the other ones and their attrition. Sorry, yes, their turnover rate or attrition. We can see this. Okay, so that is it for this chart. Okay, now we can also go further to slice this our dashboard to see how responsive it is. We can also go ahead to filter to narrow down some certain information on this dashboard. Okay, now these are my slicers here. I have the gender, the active and inactive. I have the year. Now, if I say let me slice this dashboard and say let me see what happened in the year 2010, what happened throughout the year 2010. Let it come up. Okay, it's coming up. Okay. Now we can see this. We can see that in the year 2010, they had a total employee of 362, and turnover rate as of 2010 was 39%. Okay, and retention was 61%. Okay, they paid a total salary of 3 point something million. Okay, and the average tenure for each employee was 15.6. Okay, average age is 44. Now the active employee as of then is 220, and people that have left, the inactive is 142. Now we can look at the charts and see the turnover rates according to the work types and the salary here according to the genders. Okay, so this is all that happened in the year 2010. Now, if I go ahead and slice 2014, let's also see what happened in the year 2014. Okay, in the year 2014, they had a total employee of 2,810. Now, they have an active employee of 1,000 as of 2014, 1,737, and inactive to be 1,073. Okay, and their turnover rate as of 2014 was 38%. Okay, so there's just a little decrease in as of 2014. Okay, 2010 was higher than, I think 2010 was either 39% or so, I think, yes. So this is, if you look at this, you'll see how everything happened in 2014. The turnover rate by the ethnicity. I think the others here is now 50%. Okay, and the lowest here is the Asian in terms of turnover rate. Okay, so this is what happened in the year 2010. Now, if you go ahead and slide, let me say 1970. I think this is when this company started. Okay, I think they have a total employee of 9 persons. They have an employee of 9 persons as of 1970. So it was really a small company as of then, and they still had a turnover rate of 33% and a retention of 67%. Okay, their total salary as of then was 85,000. Okay, okay. Now, active, the employees that were active was just six, only three has left the company as of 1970. Now, we can actually go ahead and slice this in terms of the gender and the active. Okay, let me take a look at, let me use 2014. Let me use 2014 and check this. Let me use 2014 and check in terms of people that are active in the company. Let's see what will happen. Okay, we've narrowed this down. Now I'm slicing active 2014 and people that are active. Okay, we can see 1,737 total employee correlating with what we have there as the active employee. And turnover rate, they are still in the company, so it's 0%. Retention, this is 100% because they are all in the company as of then. Okay, so there's no turnover rate in departments. All departments are showing 0%, 0% because they are all in the departments. They are all in the company. None has left. Same thing with for ethnicity. Okay, you can go ahead and narrow this data down the more. Let me say in terms of male, let's check male. Okay, so this is the male now. We are looking at only the male. Now the male is, this is still 2014, 917. So you can go ahead and look at, check other things to narrow this work down the more. Okay, let me clear these filters from this. Let me clear the filters. Okay, I've cleared the filter. Now the next thing we are going to do now is now we are going to dive into the step-by-step process of how we created this dashboard using Excel. Okay, using Excel. Now, first of all, we're going to look at data cleaning, the pivot table modeling, and all of that. Now, we are going to do this in the next video. We are going to show all of this in the next video. Okay, thank you very much. See us in the next class.